Well, you've seen the memes. You have heard the tales from all of your single friends. Dating in DC, it can be especially hard.
Yes, it can. So how do you navigate modern dating if you want monogamy? Well, here to help us out is April Davis, the founder of LUMA Luxury Matchmaking. Welcome to Great Day Washington.
Welcome.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Sure.
So talk to us real quick about the DC scene. Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's one of the worst.
Okay.
Because it's very transient. People come here to work and not necessarily to stay.
Yeah.
That makes it hard.
Yeah, it's a very promising place for young people early on in their career. So they'll put in the time that they feel they need, and then they a lot of times move on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe back to where they're from, or maybe to New York City. I hear a lot of people following that same kind of progression.
Okay,
makes
but
sense.
there are people who want to be in relationships still, even at
Yes.
that stage, right? Is
Absolutely.
it increasing the number of people who are coming to you saying, I would like to find somebody, but it's really hard?
Well, oftentimes people think that you just go on an app and you can find somebody there, and they'll think it's maybe our competition, but it's more of a justification because people have tried the apps and they realize how frustrating it is, and then they may have heard of a matchmaker before. I mean, the occupation has been around for over 2,000 years. So
Yeah. True.
they will reach out to us because they actually want a real relationship, not just maybe a hookup or entertainment. They're wanting that real bond and that partner.
Yeah, let's talk about those apps for a minute, because has it kind of changed the way that people are, for example, meeting someone for the first time, or like flirting online? You're flirting with someone and getting to know someone, but over
Like a swipe
text
or
or something.
Yeah.
Right. It's definitely changed our
Yeah.
culture, and you have to learn different kind of skills because you are learning how to flirt via, texting.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think, made people more just not apt to meet or go up to somebody in person. I think also with the Me Too movement, I think it scared guys into not wanting to make that first move, and they're afraid. I mean, everyone's afraid of rejection, of course.
Yeah.
So the people become reliant on these apps, and a lot of times they don't actually end up even meeting anyone in person. They just sit there
they're
on the app,
fulfilled,
and
yeah.
and they are getting that attention, but they're not actually going out on dates
Right.
necessarily. And so that's why they a lot of times will end up going to a matchmaker because they really want to meet somebody.
Yeah. You have people coming to you, though, that are celebrities, that are people that you would think would have no trouble finding their match and starting a relationship. Why is that?
I mean, well, like we have people, like you said, celebrities. We've even had people that are OnlyFans accounts. And yes, they do meet a lot of people, but I think they get maybe caught up in some of that transactional nature of these relationships, and they're not finding it fulfilling. So they're wanting to find an actual real relationship, and they know that matchmakers only deal with people that are looking for that commitment and that type of bonding relationship.
Yeah, that'd be a different level.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit? I'm curious about your success rates. Like, people have tried these apps, they're not working out.
Yeah.
They finally come to you, and kinda,
Yeah.
how does that even, like, tell us about the process?
So when somebody they come to us, they'll fill out a form, we meet with them, we really get to know them, we get a sense of their vibe, of who they are, and who would be a good complement for them. And we really focus on what's important to them, their values, and what type of relationship, what type of person is going to work well with them and their goals for the future. And then we go to work. On average, we end up interviewing about 50 people per client. So it's like we're going on 50 first dates for them.
Yeah.
And we kind of narrow down the pipeline, and we select who they're going to meet, and we put them in front of each other. So we'll plan the date. A lot of times we try to get people to do an activity type date. So they're not just, sitting there like an interview feeling really awkward. And, we want them to do something fun, and it gets them out of their like interview style, and that way they are really getting to know each other better. And then we get feedback afterwards, and we can relay that feedback, and so it's a process.
The match. And then you go to the wedding.
I'm actually an officiant now, so I can do the wedding.
Amazing. This has been so interesting. Thank you, April. If you want to have more of April's help, you can always follow her LUMA Search on Instagram and Facebook.